Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about my military story and why they didn't accept me. Rude. I want to kind of give my side and like where I messed up, and then give tips for someone who maybe is looking to get into the military. While we're doing all of that, I'm going to do my makeup because listen honey, I like to watch YouTube videos where the person is either driving or they're doing makeup or they're doing something and they're talking about something, because I feel like it's more interactive that way. So I'm gonna put my headband on. So I'm gonna get started with my primer. Okay, I use Bare Minerals Combo Control. Yes, it's really good for dry skin and if you have oily skin. But I more so have dry skin. But I really like this primer. It's like one of the best primers I've found. Bare Minerals also has their original primer that's in like the little white tube. I really like that too. But this one works for me. It really does, especially because in AZ it's so hot right now. It's 113 the other day. And bitch, oh my god, I literally didn't leave my house. Okay, so let's start my story. Back in January, I quit my job and I was in like a really bad headspace, and being at work honestly didn't help me. It wasn't even the job itself or anybody, just being there was bringing me lower than I already was. So in my head, it just made sense to quit my job. Do I regret it? No, not really. I really don't. Because I had a really good backup plan that has been working well for me for the last 8 months. I've also learned a ton about myself, and I'm basically self-employed. That's a goal of mine when I'm older for sure, is to have my own company or running my own business. And I want to get into real estate as well, so it's like being my own boss is something that I'm really striving for. Okay, so imagine that I'm in a terrible headspace and 2 weeks later I go and apply with the Air Force. So okay, I'm using my foundation, NARS. Yes, medium 4. I need to get a darker one because I'm still pale, as you can see. I haven't like spent time in the sun lately. But like I need a darker foundation because I think all of us ladies can literally relate when you're out with your friends, somebody takes a picture with the flash on and you look like a piece of chalk. It's just really depressing. I hate it. So I'm definitely gonna have to get a darker shade. I tell you what, that flash really be bringing out your true colors, you know what I'm saying? So okay, so 2 weeks later, I applied with the Air Force. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing shit with my life. This is not good. I'm in a really bad spot. How can I get out of this? How can I start over? And I was really anxious back then. I'm not gonna lie, 8 months ago, I was a lot different than I am right now. I've calmed down a lot, but back then I was freaking out. I was like, this can't be real. I don't know what I'm doing. I had this recruiter, okay? He was cool. He was dope, except he was new to the game, okay? He was brand new to the recruiting game. And so he didn't know like the ins and outs of how to bring somebody in. Like he kept having to ask the other sergeant that was in the room, what do I need to give her? So he was cool, but he wasn't that educated, which I'll get into when I get into the tips. But so I applied back in January, right? And literally over the next 6 months, I had to do a lot. I had to call doctors from my original hometown in Montana. I had to reach out to doctors in Puyallup, Washington, where I'm from. I had to reach out to everybody, like the doctors that I visited here, because I had disclosed, medical information, which you have to, especially if it's like something to where they're gonna find out about it later. Do you guys see how light it is? Oh God. It's okay. We're gonna put on bronzer, a whole shebang. It'll be, don't even worry about it. We're gonna get through this. We are. So, okay, so over the next 6 months, right, I had to get in contact with doctors and ask them for medical info. And then finally, okay, applied in January, finally in May, I was able to go to MEPS, which is the Military Entrance Processing Station. And that was fun. Like, honestly, it wasn't even that bad. You have to go, here in AZ, you have to go stay at a hotel in Phoenix, and it's pretty nice. Like, they offer you food, you have a nice room, but then you're up at 4 in the morning, and you're on a bus by 5, or I think it was we're up at 3, we're on the bus by 4. I think that's how it was. And so it's like you and like 30 other people, but half of them were going to their basic training, and then the other half of us were going to MEPS to do our processing stuff. A little background on what I disclosed to my recruiter. I told my recruiter that I had prior back problems, because I do, and should I have disclosed that? Probably not, but here we are. Told him that, and so I had to get in contact with like all the chiropractors I've ever been to and blah blah blah. I'm at the end of the day, so I've been there since what, like 5 a.m. and it's like 3 p.m. and I get to the actual doctor that you meet at the end, and he felt my spine and he was like, your spine is in great shape, you're doing wonderful, you're good, pretty much, right? And so I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. Oh, I didn't say what concealer I used. Oh my god. Okay, I use Becca concealer. It's like washed off pretty much, but the beige color, you're not gonna be able to see that. And then I use Rimmel London Stay Matte Powder. Thanks to my sister, she put me on to translucent powder like 4 years ago, and it has changed my life because I have really dark under eyes, thanks to my mother. And so gotta cover them little hoes up, you know? So then at the end of everything, you have to do like 20 exercises in your bra and your underwear. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize the mirror was right there. So you have to do 20 exercises with like 6 other girls just in your bra and your underwear. And it's basically to see that you're not flat-footed, and whatever else they're checking. I'm not entirely sure like the whole list because we don't know, but basically that went well. And then I go into the doctor after all that, and he goes, okay, I'm gonna have to disqualify you for previous back issues and you need a waiver, right? So I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was so upset, guys. Like, I literally called my mom bawling because I've been going through this process since January, and I'm just like, I don't understand like what the deal is. Like, why can they not get me in? What is the problem? It made me upset, you know? It was BS. So I had to wait a month and a half to hear back about my waiver. Okay, so now it's the middle of June. Like, I thought I wanted to do this, but it's been such a long process, and I'm not even passionate about it. I wanted to do it because it was an escape plan. You know what I mean? I was passionate about it at 19. I could say that, but at the time I was in community college, and I finished community college when I was 20. So after that I moved to Arizona. Had to wait a month and a half to hear back anything. And I was told, you're gonna have to go see on getting a full exam on your hips and your back. And I was like, bro. So remember that in January, I had quit my full-time job, and I was basically self-employed at this point. So let me do my eyebrows really quick. For my eyebrows, I'm using Anastasia's pomade. And I use this brush, the 7B brush. I've been using this for so long, I don't even know what else I could use on my eyebrows. Because I know like the eyebrow game is changing. Like, it's not even about filling them in anymore. It's about making them look natural as possible. Usually I put concealer under my eyebrows, but they're like shaped really well right now. So I think I'm just gonna leave it, especially because I'm gonna be out today and it is hot. So I'm not trying to have like a ton of makeup on my face. But usually I would like chisel in my eyebrows to make them look really accentuated or whatever. But this is cool. Back to the story. Didn't have health insurance. I told my recruiter that, and he was like, okay, let me see if there's anything I can do. The universe was trying to tell me like, girl, you're not supposed to join the military. So my recruiter comes through, MEPS, they'll do a full exam for you, like, don't even worry about it, like, they got you. It was like right before I was in Washington for a month, and honestly guys, I just wasn't about it anymore. Like, 6 months is a long time. I was just like, you know what, this is not what I want to do with my life, and I made that decision, and I'm happy I did, because with it being like a 6 month long process, almost 7 months, it would have been longer than that, because even after they did the exam, it probably would have taken a month and a half again to hear something. I had a couple of friends who are currently serving who were like, Becca, the military is not for you. I don't think you like structure. You don't really like being told what to do. I don't. You don't really like authority. I don't. I'm kind of glad it didn't work out, to be honest. My recruiter had put 5 people through in the process of my 6 months. So I don't think it was meant to be. You can join the military until you're like 35, I think. Something like that. I still have time if it's something that I want to do in the future, but I don't think it's what I'm destined to do. I'm using Ulta's matte bronzer, and this brush, this Morphe brush, Eve 58 brush. It's really nice. Sorry, there's like people outside all the time, and I'm like a mom in a gated community. Like, who's out there? So that's my story, okay? Hopefully I put that together well enough to where you understand where I'm coming from. I have tips, okay? And I wrote them down because they're importante. Numero uno. If you find yourself contemplating the idea of joining, talk to people who have served, okay? Talk to your friends that are serving right now, no matter what branch it is, okay? Because that's gonna also help you figure out what branch you wanna serve. I'm applying NARS Orgasm blush with a Morphe B3 brush. So, blush is like the best, dude. It just like, awakens your face. You feel so moist. You're like, hello, I'm here. Okay, so sorry. People are watching this are probably like, what in the hell, boy? She crazy. Okay, so if you find yourself contemplating joining, I highly recommend talking to people. My brother-in-law served in the Navy, so I talked to him about his experience. And then I talked to my dad, who was a Marine. So it's just important to like talk to the people around you. If you have friends that are serving and you're interested, talk to them. Okay, so number 2, if you know friends who joined that live near you, ask them about the recruiter that they used, if they like them or not. Really want a good and educated recruiter. Like I said in the beginning, like mine was new, so we had to ask the other couple of sergeants that were around questions. He was a trustworthy person, I could say that. My best friend, one of my best friends back home, her brother is in the Air Force, but I talked to him about his recruiter and he didn't have anything good to say. His recruiter kind of lied to him quite a bit and told him, hey, like you can tell me these things, it's not gonna matter, which I'll get into. But also be wary of that. Do your own research before you go in even see a recruiter, because they're gonna tell you things that may not be entirely the truth. Okay, 2 things. If you officially decide that you want to join, absolutely know what field you want to get into, because it's going to help you study for your ASVAB, and then it's also going to help your recruiter to figure out what job that you want, which is huge, okay? I didn't know because I didn't give a shit. I was like, yo, just get me in the Air Force, like I'll figure it out. As far as the Air Force, I mean, it ranges from the health field to electronics to special ops, to you could be a dentist, all of these different jobs literally that you could be on the outside, that you can get on the inside. So it helps definitely to know what you're kind of leaning towards. And even if you do know what you want to do, it's not even promised that you're going to get that job, unfortunately. So just be mindful of that. My recruiter made me list 5 jobs that I wanted, so that in case like the first 4 weren't available, I could get that 5th. But there's no promise. Like, there's no promise to any of that. So, number 2, if you have a history of medical issues, okay, listen to me. This was the worst part about me joining, by far. Like, if you have prior medical issues, and I'm not talking about back pain, I'm talking about, like, you have diabetes, or you have a heart issue, anything serious, okay, you want to tell your recruiter, and you want to have that paperwork already ready. Like, if you plan on joining, hit up all the doctors that you know that have medical records of your situation, and just have them ready when you're there, dude, because like your recruiter is not only going to be so thankful, it's going to make the process go by so freaking fast. The 3 out of 6 months that I was waiting to hear anything back, it was mostly because I had to get in contact with people, had to get my medical records, we had to send them over to whoever looks them over, and it took so freaking long. Have all that shit ready to go before you even get in the recruiter's office. Number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't tell your recruiter anything. Do not tell your recruiter shit. I'm telling you, like, the stuff that doesn't matter, do not tell your recruiter anything. I'm not joking. They're gonna tell you. They're literally gonna tell you, hey, have you ever smoked weed? Okay? It's up to you whether you want to say yes or no. Because I guess it doesn't hurt as much as it used to now if you say that you have, because it's like legal in some states or whatever. So it's like, okay. But be careful of that. It's just easier just to say no. And if you are smoking, stop. Because they're going to drug test you. So don't be a clown and don't get caught up in your own lie. So don't tell your recruiter anything. Okay, I'm going to do my eyelashes. I use Benefits Roller Lash. Literally my go-to for like the past, I don't even know how many years. I usually curl my eyelashes first, but I already forgot, so can't go back now. I have really tiny eyelashes. Ooh, is she cute or whatever? I already have chapstick on, so I'm gonna put... So my forever go-to, I don't know if I'm ever gonna switch this up, but it's Clinique's Chubby Stick, and it's in the color Fuller Fig, and it is like life. My mom actually put me onto this sophomore year of high school. She was like, Becky, you need to add some like color to your lips, sis. Like, you can't just be walking around with chapped lips. And I was like, okay, mom, well then help me out, girl. You can't just call me out and not help me. So, okay guys, the last point I wanted to make was that you have to be patient. If you're like 18 years old, fresh out of high school, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna join the military, you're gonna get in so fast it's not even funny. You're not gonna have to be patient because you're gonna be good. As long as the branch that you're joining has availability, you'll be good. But if you're like me and you're 22, you have a medical history, then it's gonna take longer. So just know that it's something that you want to do when you start, okay? Don't use the military as an escape route, I'm telling you. Okay? Finally, all to finish this baby off, we're using e.l.f.'s Makeup and Mist Spray. A bitch is glowing. A bitch is glowing. Alright guys, that is all that I have. Follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'm posting like the ideas that I have to make videos, and so I need your guys' opinion on what it is that you want to see. I'm gonna do, my next video is gonna be about living by myself for a year and a half, and basically like the do's and don'ts of moving out. And girl, do I have tips for you. Okay, so thanks guys. I don't like to be that person that's like, comment, subscribe. Like, literally, you already know what to do. So do I gotta tell you what to do? Do what you want to do. Okay? Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.